I don't trust nobody like I trust you. I knew you'll never hurt me, cause it'll hurt you. Everybody turn their back on me but you. And when I did time, you was doing time too. Looking back at it, hell, what we went through. It's like I prayed for an angel and he said...
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Love Without Boundaries, here with another video. So in this video, I am going to be answering like frequently asked questions that people ask me quite often pertaining to me and Blake's relationship, why I choose to wait, just a lot of questions. So I have them here on my phone. I am going to read them, answer them, and again, I'm doing this my experience. So these answers that I give are more so going to be pertaining to Blake and I. So the first question is, why am I waiting? Like, why did I choose to wait for him? Because I wanted to. And another reason, it's solely because I love him. I knew who Blake was before he left and went to prison, and I know the potential of, you know, when he comes home and the things that he's going to do, the things that he's going to accomplish. So me waiting is because I believe in us. I believe in our relationship. This is honestly just a test. It's only temporary. It's not something that's gonna, you know, he's not gonna be gone for forever. So that's why I choose to wait. In the beginning, when everything was, you know, happening, we knew Blake was going to prison. So in the beginning, I had to have a heart-to-heart with myself to decide if this was going to be something that I could do, something that I wanted to do. I always told Blake that I was going to be here for him. Like, that was never a question of if I was going to be here for him. I told him I will always be here, you know, for him, to be a support, to write letters, to visit. But I did also say that if he would have been sentenced to more than 10 years, I wasn't gonna be sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in now. Just because I had to be real with myself and what I could do, and I couldn't do no more than 10 years. So luckily he was only sentenced to 8. Yeah, because I wasn't gonna be able to do more than 10 years. So, but Blake is honestly worth the wait. I mean, who's to say if he would have got more time, I wouldn't have stayed, or, you know, I just never know. I just know at that moment, when I was thinking back, you know, almost 3 years ago, I knew my cap was 10, but hey, we didn't even have to go down that route of, ooh, you still gonna be here or whatnot. So, yeah, and it's so funny because Blake only thought I was gonna be here for 6 months, and then I was gonna be like, ooh, I can't do this no more. Joke's on you, babe. Like, you got a real writer day over here. So yes, Blake is like so worth the wait. I will only do this with him. Yeah, so he's lucky. My love for him is something different. I wouldn't have did no prison sentence with anybody else but Blake. Like, that's the honest to God truth. Honestly, God truth. So yes, that is why I wait. The next question is, what is the biggest misconception that people have for people who are in relationships with somebody who's incarcerated? The biggest misconception is, there's a lot. It's either you're desperate, you are insecure, you can't find a man outside the prison walls, you have low self-esteem, you're being used. That's a big one. A lot of people think, oh, you really think he being faithful to you? Girl, he using you. I can honestly say that's not my story. Yeah, I knew him before he left. I know him now. I feel like I know him better now, you know, than I did before. But those are the misconceptions. Like, I don't have low self-esteem. I can get a man outside of prison. because I got one. He just so happened to go to prison. So yeah, my biggest thing is, if you want to know something, just ask questions. Don't sit up here and think. Not everybody's being used. Not everybody is getting cheated on. Not everybody has low self-esteem. Are there some women who fit those categories? Absolutely. Absolutely. Men and women who fit those categories. But there's a good chunk of people who don't. Like I said, until you sit down and talk to a person who is in this type of situation, don't pass judgment on nobody. How do I handle life when I get lonely? I work. I've turned into a workaholic. Like, I have really good work ethic, but I feel like since Blake has been gone, I will work 7 days a week if I could. I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. I would work every single day. Just because before Blake left, we lived together. So I woke up to him. I went to bed to him. I got off work. He was there. On the weekends, he was there. Like, we always had stuff to do. Now, I be so bored. I swear, I be so bored. And then, like, I do get in my funks where I'm just like, this is so depressing. Like, you know, but I work. I work 2 jobs right now. I have like a few hours in between each. I rarely be one weekends off. Honestly, the only time I take a weekend off or like days off is if I really, really have to. Like for weekends, I'm only taking off if I'm going to see him, or if I have like a trip coming up or something with like girlfriends or family or something like that. But I work to keep from being lonely and by myself, because right now it's just me and the dog. I work. That's how I keep from being lonely. I work a lot. Does this lifestyle ever get easier? No, it doesn't. I always tell people it does not get easier. It becomes more manageable. Like, if I could have him home right now and August be over, in a heartbeat. Like, I joke all the time and tell people, I'm about to go do a prison break. Like, I just want my man home. Like, bring free bay. Like, swear. So no, it doesn't get easier. It just becomes more manageable. You wake up the next day and be like, he's still not here. All right, put one foot in front of the other and keep it moving. Like, yeah, it becomes manageable. Not easier. I honestly don't feel like it's gonna be easier until he's home. You know, honestly, like, yeah. What do you feel the hardest part of having someone you love in prison? The hardest part of him not being here is definitely when like things happen and you can't just pick up the phone and call him. Like for instance, last week I sprained my ankle, went to the ER, was completely handicapped. I felt so useless, like I was off of work and everything. And the one person I wanted to call and be like, oh, I need you here right now, I couldn't. Like, he wasn't available to me. So that's the hardest thing, when like those life inconveniences happen and you can't tell him. Because like, obviously I can email, I can write, but that right now communication, I can't just pick up the phone and be like, oh my gosh, guess what, you know, whatever. I have to wait for him to call me. So it's just, that's like the biggest inconvenience of him not being here, is he's not here when I need him here. That's like the hardest part. Luckily, I am like very fortunate enough. I haven't gone through anything super traumatic to where I just felt like, oh, I need him. Like I said, sprained my ankle, but he ended up calling, gave me my reassurance that I needed, let me know everything's gonna be okay. But thankfully that was it. I'm really blessed that I haven't gone through anything too crazy to the point where I fell apart because he wasn't here. But that's the hardest part, when you're going through something and they're not here. What do you tell people when they ask about your boyfriend? I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. In the beginning, more so not with like family, just like with like coworkers and stuff. In the beginning, if I always got the question like, "Oh, Jamara, like, are you in a relationship? Where's your boyfriend? What does he do?" I would lie. I would so lie. I will always tell them that he was out of town, that he lived out of town, he worked out of town, and then when they would always ask like, "Oh, like what does he do?" I would tell them he worked at the prison, that he was a correctional officer. It's not funny. Yes, it is. But I think it was more so, I mean, people who are like close to me, family, friends, whatever, obviously they know. But when it comes to like your coworkers and people who you don't want to know, like who you don't wanting, you know, to know your business, he's out of town. But then I learned, okay, girl, just stop, just tell him, whatever. Because when I would tell him like, "Oh, he works out of town. Yep, he's a correctional officer, you know. Oh, so when does he come home? On the weekends?" Da 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 da. Ooh, nope. He doesn't get to leave. So then I was just like, whatever. My man's in prison. Yay. You know, like it's not. It is what it is at this point. So now I about shouted to the mountaintops, in all honesty. Like, "Oh, your boyfriend? Yeah, Blake. Yep. What does he do? Oh, he's in prison. Yep." Hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. It was just, at the time, it was still fresh. I had never been in this situation before, so I just didn't want those questions like, "Oh, what did he do, girl? Oh my God." Now, pull up a chair, I'll tell you all about it. So, yes, I tell a little white lie, which it really wasn't a lie. He is out of town. He is at a prison, and he can, you know, work at the prison, but anyway, it's okay. I don't lie about it no more. My man's in prison. Who's your biggest support system? That's the next question. Obviously my family, both like my immediate family, some of my extended family who I talk to about the situation. My family is like my biggest supporters. I talk to my mom, my brother, and my cousin more so a lot about, you know, the situation. If I'm having like a bad day, I call my cousin and she gets me through. Like, even though sometimes I don't think she realizes it, but yeah, she gets me through a lot of my times where I just be like, "Oh, this is too much." And then, so family, definitely. And then I do have a good core group of friends that I know I can talk to. They also check in on me and see how I'm doing, as well as Blake's family and friends. I do have a good handful of them also that will shoot me a text, shoot me something on Facebook, and just be like, "Hey, you good? You all right?" And what I find most helpful throughout this whole process is the kudos I get from Blake's family. Which, like I said, my family, they're always going to be there because, you know, I'm one of their own. But when I get that recognition and support from Blake's family and friends, it just does something to me. Like, I get so emotional. And because, like, the other day I had one of his, you know, homeboys, he hit me up just like checking in, you know, like, "Hey, how you doing? How are you doing? You know, like, I'm so proud of you. I appreciate you for holding him down, for supporting him the way you do. Like, I know it's not easy, but you got it under control." So I personally, it just makes me feel so good. And then, like, when Blake calls or something like that, I always tell him, like, "Such and such checked in on you and they told me da 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 da." So it does. It makes me feel on a cloud. Like, I love it. So I keep saying but Blake and I, we have a great support system. A great support system. So the next question, did you lose family or friends for deciding to stay with someone who's in prison. I'm not gonna say I lost family or friends because I chose to stay. However, I did lose my best friend. Not because I chose to stay, but just because I personally felt as if I wasn't getting the support that I needed at that time. Especially when you're the type of person who is always there for everybody else. You drop what you are doing to be available to people, and when it's your turn and you need it, everybody goes ghost and ain't nobody there. So in that situation, that's what happened, and I was just like, at that point in my life, because I was going through so much and not even knowing how to deal with it, and just needing that person to be there, so for me to talk to a person who was supposed to be like my right hand and they weren't. So that's honestly the only relationship I lost out of this. Obviously my family, they're not going anywhere. Yeah, they knew Blake before he went to prison, so they know the person he is. Friendships, I feel like with certain friendships I have like taken a back seat a little bit, and maybe not have contacted certain people as much as I should, but I more so feel as if just being in certain atmospheres or around certain people, I just don't want to be. If you're the type of person that's like always negative, or if you're the type of person who it's just gonna like throw your relationship in my face, not even to say that I'm like a jealous person or anything like that, but if you're always gonna like, oh, me and such did this and this and this and this and this, knowing I can't, like, well dang, are you even being sensitive to my feelings right now? So yeah, certain people I have taken a back seat on, but that's just been my own personal reasons. But I mean, I don't feel bad about it. I was going through something. I needed to reevaluate for myself and figure out what I needed to do. So the friends who helped me through that and realized, oh, Jamara's in a different space, we got to be there for her, those are the people who gonna celebrate when he comes home with me. So yeah, I didn't lose anybody. It was just some relationships took a shift, which there's nothing wrong with that. The next question is, did this prison sentence strengthen the relationship or make it worse? I can honestly say, which I tell everybody this who asks, I feel as if Blake going to prison saved our relationship. I don't feel as if he didn't go to prison, I don't think we would be in the place that we are now, which that might sound very bad. But when he left, we weren't in a bad place, but we weren't in a good place, just because we knew what was coming. So he was on edge, had his own thoughts and feelings. I was on edge, had my own thoughts and feelings. So we weren't as connected when he left as we should have been. But now, hey, yes, we are in a great place. Like, our communication is amazing. Like, I can honestly say he is my best friend. We laugh, we talk, we joke. We are like completely honest with one another, and I feel like that's how a relationship is supposed to be. We didn't have that before he left, which, you know, rocked us a little bit, but now we are solid, okay? Solid. So yes, it definitely strengthened our relationship in a lot of good ways. So I'm thankful for it. I know he is too, because we've talked about it before. Because Blake is all about the bond that you have with a person. He could care less about a title, like, oh, that's my girlfriend, that's my fiance, that's my wife, da da da. He is more so like, if the bond is real, everything else is gonna fall into place. And we got a bond, baby, unbreakable. Well, honestly, that is all the questions that I have. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you drop some comments below. Give me some feedback. Like I said, this is an open dialogue type of channel. And also, make sure you turn your post notifications on so you get notifications every single time I post videos. So, as always, until next time.
We ride, we ride. We ride, we ride. We ride, we ride. We ride.